Hi everybody. So I'm at one of my favorite Atlanta parks, but it's very slept on and it makes me not want to tell you where I'm actually at. I'm at West Side Park, if anyone knows about it. I'm here to talk about capacity today, and it's something I've maybe briefly touched on, but let's get into it. Yesterday, I woke up in a no good, very bad mood. Stemmed from a dream, ironically. And it wasn't that it was a bad dream, it was a dream where my subconscious was going bam, right in my face. And I welcome them. I welcome dreams. I welcome all of the messages, whatever way they want to come. Sometimes they come and they hurt. And so I had a dream from Costa Rica Hope. And when I was in Costa Rica, I was so focused. I wasn't attached to anything. I wasn't caught up in distractions and anything, really. I was just so focused on my purpose, and I was grounded, and I was in my own energy. And in the dream, she came to me and she said an expletive. WTF are you doing? And I was like, what could you ever mean, past self? And really, I had to listen to her because I've been falling back into some old patterns. You know, sometimes we get in patterns because they're comfortable, they're what's familiar, and then here I am. But yesterday, instead of trying to get out of my big bad mood, just decided to sit in it. And I think it's something we don't talk about enough, because everybody comes to me as a therapist being like, please help me feel better when I'm in a mood, please help me get out of my anxiety, the anger, the bad mood. I don't want to be there. I get it. It's not very comfy, but sitting in the uncomfortable is how you then gain so much power over it. And I just sat in the big bad mood, wrote about it, I journaled about it, wasn't attaching to it. I also just wasn't trying to rush it away because I feel like there was a lot of message in it for me. So much purpose and depth happens when you decide to sit in the feelings instead of immediately trying to fix them. So, sat in a big bad mood and got some perspective, was really honest with myself, was able to see some things that I need to shift, some things I need to let go of, some conversations that I may or may not need to have, just different ways in which I need to move in the world and manage my energy. And then this morning I woke up just overwhelmed with gratitude for what is going well in life. And the thing is, when we allow ourselves to sit in the uncomfortable instead of always trying to escape, that's how we build capacity. We want to forever avoid bad feelings. We want to grow our capacity to sit in bad feelings. Because the truth is, it's not practical to feel like you're going to be rise and shine, rainbows and butterflies every single day. It's not real. That's not real. Your heart gets broken. Your boundaries get crossed. You feel like you're being taken advantage of, or you're just being siphoned of your energy, and you tried really hard at something and it didn't work out, and so you're disappointed. All of that is very real. And if your version of mental health is to just constantly shift out of that instead of learning to sit in it, then I think that's a form of avoidance. And of course, I'm never going to suggest that we build our home in our big bad feelings. Now, if I woke up this morning and I was still this is stupid, I'd have to be like, girl, get over yourself and let's go do some practices. Which, being out in nature, as you can hear, I'm still in the city. You hear all the bing bang booms of the city, but also I'm in nature. Was out walking. I journaled yesterday and did a lot of process, but then this morning I woke up and made a lot of art because I think transmuting them is powerful. But a lot of times those feelings are coming to bring us a lesson. They're coming to bring us a moment of growth, and they're coming to bring us a dose of reality. And if all we're doing is escaping and avoiding, then how much of your truth are you really living in? Every time that you actually allow yourself to just kind of sit in the icky, you are expanding your tolerance, as well as teaching your nervous system, hey, we don't have to fear big feelings. We can respond instead of react. We can pivot instead of spiraling. There is so much to be gained in not trying to immediately fix every bad feeling. And this is so different from attaching to your feelings. It's just saying, hey, sometimes life comes with this big heavy storm cloud over my head, and it is what it is. Let me sit in it. Sit in it, really sit in it. Because I promise you, some of my biggest chunks of wisdom have come from sitting in some of the most uncomfortable feelings instead of trying to escape them. And I'm also an expert at doing all the things to make me feel better when it's appropriate. And I think what I did yesterday was create a container to where I was able to sit in the discomfort without it taking me over, but without trying to escape it. So, like I went upstairs on my rooftop in the sunshine, did some journaling, lit some incense, I did a dance party, I did my somatic things that I'm really obsessed with, trying to clear things from my body. But I wasn't doing that in order to try not to feel my feelings. I was doing it so they didn't get stuck anywhere. Because, we all think, oh, if I just get rid of this feeling, it won't get stuck in me. But that's actually not true. The more you avoid feeling your feelings, the more they end up getting stuck. If someone hurts your feelings, and you decide, I'm not going to feel that. I'm going to be tough. I'm not going to let them know they get to me. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to give them that power. That gets stuck. You got to cry. You got to feel the feelings. You got to let it feel sad. You got to be mad. You got to be frustrated. You have to feel them, or it still gets stuck no matter how much somatic or processing you do. And so I just don't think this step of it is talked about enough, because there's so much, please get me out of this. It's so uncomfortable. But it's like, just learn to sit in the uncomfortable a little bit. I think that's why meditation is so powerful, because eventually it's uncomfortable just to sit still and be focused on your breath, and maybe your legs get stiff, or your back gets stiff, or your attention span wants to go somewhere else, and it's uncomfortable to keep being like, nope, bring it back. The more you learn to sit with your feelings, the more you're going to come to understand your feelings aren't there to drown you. They just want to be known. They just want you to acknowledge them. And if you've been feeling big feelings, this could be your big moment of growth. Perhaps it is learning the capacity to weather the storm instead of trying to shelter or escape from it. I understand that there's a lot of overwhelm that comes with the big feelings when you already have so much going on in life. But that's why it's so important to make sure you're taking time for yourself instead of trying to constantly escape the process. Because every time you try to avoid the feeling, you are not getting to the other side. I always think about my clients that come in and when they're in the grief and they're really in their feelings of it, and they'll say, well, so-and-so told me I should just get over it. And I'm like, we don't get over things. You go through things. And the going through them is what builds your capacity to step into the light fully on the other side. If you're just getting over things, you're never actually learning the lesson, and you're just going to constantly be triggered, and every big feeling is going to weigh you down because you don't have the capacity, because you have yet to sit in it to build capacity. So if you're avoiding your feelings, I'm just curious, what else are you avoiding? Probably other people's feelings, probably closeness, probably connection, probably opportunities. Because if an opportunity could possibly trigger something that you just don't want to feel or deal with, then you're going to avoid it. And, life is just so much beautiful when you just grow your capacity to sit in the things. One thing I know for sure is that when I tried to avoid the things that were happening while I was taking care of Steve, because I was just already in so much overwhelm, it would come out in explosions. It would just stack. I was avoiding, building, storing, boom. Are we surprised? No, even I wasn't surprised, but I still kept doing it because I was like, no, I don't have time for that. Once I actually created stillness, space, allowance to sit with some of the stuff, some of the resentment, ew, that's yucky. How can you resent somebody that you agree to take care of, right? Ooh, who wants to sit in that? The anxiety, let's avoid that as much as possible, right? But every time I avoided something that was a really big feeling, it stacked and it grew and it made me sick. It made me mean. It made me intolerable. It made me have very, 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 very little capacity. Best thing I ever did for myself was to study meditation. Never forget the number one thing that I took away from it in the early days was to allow whatever was coming up without judgment and to sit in it. And like when I first started to meditate, I would just cry. Like as soon as I would drop into a meditative state, I would just start crying, and I'd be like, well, hello? That's not, like, I didn't think I was meditating right because I was just feeling too much, and I thought meditation was supposed to make you zen. And it helped me see how much just creating space for the things that I was swallowing and storing was important. And now meditation wasn't enough for me. I needed to, because I had been storing so much, because I had been taking on so much, and because I felt like I always had to be so strong, even though me not allowing me to feel the feelings made me quite the opposite. I was not strong. I was unraveling every single day, but I, in my mind, thought, ooh, I'm just keeping it so together. Bless her. I look back at her sometimes and I'm like, oh, honey, kind of wish somebody would have taught you this, but it's okay, you didn't know and you learned. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of her. So proud of me. So proud of you. I digress. What was I saying? Oh, I wasn't actually feeling strong ever because I didn't think that I had the capacity to handle everything. So I avoided everything and then it stored. And so I had to do so much work to get that out of my body. So much somatic work, so much processing, so much to transmute it because I stored so much. And so I just want to make sure it's clear what the steps are here. Step 1, a big feeling comes. Feel it, sit in it, maybe try to understand it, talk to it, make home for it, love yourself in it, even if it makes you feel weird. And step 2, if you're feeling like maybe you're attaching to it, transmute it. And what does it feel to attach to it? Okay, well, somebody upset me yesterday, let's say, and I got mad at them. And I was just like, that really just, and I stew on it all day, and I'm just like, ooh, I cannot even believe they had the audacity. I go to sleep, I wake up in the morning, and my first thought is, that MFer. That's attaching. Much different than feeling. The feeling process of that is, that really hurt my feelings. What in the world? All right. Sit in it for as long as you need to, until eventually it kind of lessens, and then you're like, you know what? I think I learned my lesson. I need to set better boundaries. I let this person have too much access to me. All right, I'm gonna go for a walk to clear my mind. Do you see the difference? Felt it. I allowed it to be there. I sat in it for as much as I needed to until I learned whatever it was there to tell me. And then I was like, all right. So, learning to build capacity for your feelings is as equally important as learning how to transmute them into something productive. So let's not forget we live in an and world. You have to do both. So yesterday, I sat in my feelings and sat in them. By the time I went to bed, between journaling, sitting in the sun, taking a salt bath, watching the sunset, talking to the crows, I was feeling a little better, but there was a lingering ick. But it's okay. I went to bed, and I went to bed, did my gratitudes, did my whole spiel just the same, and I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? Lesson learned. I feel good. I understand what that was about. I'm so thankful. Let's go create some magic today. I just did a photo shoot with my friend. My friends are just showing up for me. I'm in such a gratitude-filled space, and even if there's a readjustment that needs to be made, and it's not going to necessarily reveal itself in this clear map, I'm just going to kind of have to go about figuring it out. I have the capacity to do so. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not mad at it. I'm here for it because that's how I'm going to show up as my best self. That's what I want for y'all. So if this is something you need help with, I got you, because learning to sit with, learning to process, learning to expand from, learning to grow from, learning to heal from, learning to remove them. I got you at every step, really. And that's really cool. That's really cool. So hit your girl up.